I'm hanging out with Neil from 3 Days Grace. How you doing today, Neil?
I'm doing great, man. Just chilling out. I'm actually I'm actually doing a little bit of programming right now on the new record.
Nice. So you're very hands-on with it then, hey?
Yeah, I mean, we all are. It's just been a process where we've got this song that's like ready to drop right now, but we're still putting like the finishing touches on some of the rest of the album and that. So it's always kind of a work in progress. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and you know, I
That's
like
good.
make. I don't play video games or anything. When I wake up, I want to like mess around with music and stuff.
That's good because some artists go in a booth, hit record, all right, and then see you later, and then the producer takes their hands off it, and you don't hear it to the final product. So it's nice that you guys are hands-on and working with it.
I don't know what else we'd be doing, really. I mean,
You got free time, so why not, eh? So let's talk about the brand new track that comes out on the 29th, right? So-Called Life. I did get an early listen, but for those that haven't heard it, tell us a little bit about it.
well, it's heavy. It comes out of the gates flying. And yeah, we had this song for a while. We knew that it was probably going to be our first single. It just like jumps out of the speakers for us, and it sends a message that we wanted to send. Just about it kind of sets the tone for the album, which is the album kind of has a common thread about it, which is just feeling like you can only bottle things up inside, whether that's like being able to go and do the things that you love, or being able to say the things that you want to say, or express yourself, or be yourself, or find yourself. And like, I don't think this is a timepiece, but this is the way that we've been feeling for a while now. Or it's just like it's hard to really kind of express yourself and kind of just get it all out there. And so there becomes a boiling point within you that makes you feel like you either need to explode or like get something to take the edge off.
I like it. I like it. I was looking on your socials. You guys are dabbling a little bit in TikTok and asking fans to collaborate or come up. I mean, creativity goes a long way. Have you felt like TikTok is helping out artists? Like, do you guys enjoy getting involved in that? And like, obviously, a great way to meet and reach fans.
Sure. I mean, any platform that you can kind of be like at arm's length with your fans is great, especially like we're a band where if a fan comes up to us and says like, hey, the lyric of this song like changed my life, or I thought I was alone and the only person that thought like this, and until I heard the lyrics of this song and I realized that I'm not alone and other people, that's like the most powerful thing in what we do in the arts, I think, is affecting people like that and like putting into words what people are thinking. So like to be able to actually kind of communicate to our fans and see, just it's a cool thing to see how people take our music and our art and create their own art with it. Is like super rad to be able to do that. So TikTok's another way of being able to do that and kind of reach the fans and have that connection. That's why we're in it for the first place.
That's pretty sweet. And a lyric you write might mean a certain thing, but to a fan, that lyric could mean a totally different thing that relates to their life.
Yeah, that's the beauty. That's the beauty about art, isn't it? Is it, you can look at a painting and just kind of see your own life in it and take from it what you will, and like it's up for interpretation. There's no kind of right or wrong, and that's why I like being an artist. I think that, and I'm sure I'm not alone.
I think since YouTube, there hasn't been another platform that's hit the music world more than TikTok right now. It's incredible to see. I've discovered artists that I didn't even know existed on there, and I think maybe there's new 3 Days Grace fans thanks to it.
Yeah, I mean, what's kind of cool with my band is that like, we got signed like 2 decades ago, so we're kind of going through this thing where and there's been a lot of twists and turns along the way, to say the least.
Yeah.
And but and there's a resurgence in rock, and we're seeing that even in hip hop, which I dabble in hip hop with some guys that are heavily into hip hop, and I collaborate with them sometimes. Is a lot of hip hop guys are turning to rock and kind of having that kind of rock influence. So it's all a big cycle, and we're seeing like the next generation of 3 Days Grace fans who listened to us in the early 2000s. Now their kids are like super into the band now, which is super dope. We're really grateful to be able to kind of witness that and be in it with them.
It's funny you bring that up because that was actually a question I was going to ask. Because early 2000s, rock dominated. Then there was a window there where you didn't even see a rock song on the top of the charts, which was sad to see. And I do see that coming back. Guitars are coming back in music. Actual drums are coming back into music. It's not just a sound on a computer anymore. So it's good to see. What do you feel about that? Rock making a little bit of a resurgence now.
Well, I think it's amazing, and I think that rock in its inherency of what how I see it is it's supposed to be dangerous and honest and rough around the edges. And I think people kind of still will always go back to that, where they're not always looking for something that's super polished and like really super produced, and where it's like everything's like just perfected. I think people like that honesty and that kind of the dirt and the rawness that rock and roll has kind of waved the flag for, and it's cool to see that. I think a lot of that had to do with sort of this like abundance of like kind of really contrived, super auto-tuned, the singing competitions where it's just like, where believability and genuine sort of heartfelt honesty just goes out the window, just for like 15 seconds of fame or something. And I think people are really sensitive to that now, that people want to see something that comes from the heart and from the spirit of like somebody, whether that's good or bad, whether it's like, whether we're talking about loss and anxiety and depression and not belonging and things like that, at least it's still from the heart. And we kind of keep ourselves, we stay on that road of like, if it's not honest, it's not right for 3DG.
And live. I mean, a lot of those heavily produced songs, it just doesn't sound the same live. Rock is still one of those. When you think of rock, there's been a lot of headlines of concert safety, making sure the fans are safe. When you think of rock music, you think of a rough crowd, but I think rock is one of those genres that looks after those fans in the crowd. I aired a compilation on my show the other day of rock bands stopping shows to save fans in the crowd. How do you feel about that? Obviously, you've probably seen some rowdy things in the crowd, but the fan safety, obviously, number one priority, eh?
Oh, absolutely. We've had to do it. That was very Canadian of you with the A. That's the first A.
Just slips out. I don't even notice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had to stop. We've stopped in the middle of a song to just like make sure that someone that's down is getting back up or whatever. But there's only so much you can do. I mean, I can't speak on it too much because every scenario is different. Every security, detail is different. But yeah, above all, and I'm a dad, so it's like if my kids go to the concert, I want to make sure that everybody's okay and my kids are all right and everyone else is cool, and that like everyone's there to have a good time. So yeah, for what it's worth, I think that we have to stay in tune with safety before everything else. I think, yeah,
absolutely. Have you guys played since things have slowly gotten back to normal here? Not yet, hey?
No, the only thing we did was we actually did it. We recorded from a studio live off the floor. Well, it wasn't aired live, but off the floor we did a set, and we actually opened for Metallica in like virtually in 300 drive-in movie theaters across North America.
That's awesome.
Which was awesome. Yeah, it was. It's the coolest like tour T-shirt that we've ever made, because it's got 300 dates on the back of every big place in North America.
Right.
And that 300 date tour took us 6 hours to do, which is
badass though. Like it's something you probably never thought you'd do in your career that you were doing.
We have the same managers as Metallica, so sometimes we get the call. Like we've opened for them like this. That'll be the third time. First time was in Milan. Second time was in Montreal, and then the third one was in all these drive-in theaters. So those are like some of the best concerts, but it still doesn't touch the two concerts we did in Regina.
Hey, like the way you're talking. Let's talk about getting back out on tour. You guys planning lots of shows coming up?
I want to talk about 2007, what we did in Regina. We got the call at.
What happened? I wasn't here. Well, I was still in high school out of Regina, but what happened there?
So at Taylor Field, which I don't think exists anymore, right?
No, we got a new one. That one's tore down. Yeah.
So we got the call to open for the Rolling Stones at Taylor Field.
Not a bad gig, hey?
Some of the listeners might have been there. It was probably. It was two of the most epic shows we've ever played, and like there was a day off in between, and the Stones crew hosted a party on the day off and invited us, and we went there, and then in walks Mick Jagger. He comes right over to us. I was like sitting there drinking a beer with Mick Jagger, talking about how awesome the show the night before was. Like that was it's still
That's incredible.
that's still like number one. It happens to be China.
It's a typical gig, hanging out with Mick backstage. Hey, wow. What a life you live, hey? I like this. You were dropping clues on YouTube and Spotify. Is that something you do? I see a lot of artists doing this nowadays. I think it gets fans talking on social media, and obviously gets the diehard fans real talking.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just cool to like we're super stoked. I for myself, I can't wait till everyone just hears the whole song, because like we've put years of work into this body of work, and this one just comes out of the gates, guns blazing, and but so yeah, to drop hints and kind of have the whole lead up is like, it's hype is fun.
Hey, hype is fun. Collaborations. I saw you guys were doing some during the pandemic. I think I saw one on your Instagram that you did a cover of Billy Idol. Was it? Collaborations. Is that something that's coming up in some new music that you got coming up?
Yeah, that's like, aside from 3 Days Grace, I started a new production company / record label with 3 Days Grace's producer Howard Benson, and he produced like 1X for us and like a lot of our big records and stuff, and he kind of chose me as a partner, so I got really lucky there, and so we started a company called Judge and Jury Records, and we've put out I just finished producing the Standstills, which is a fellow Canadian band that I think
we play them for sure.
Yeah. So that record's coming out, and we Howard and I have been working with artist Diamante and Jonathan Young, and the Rebel Yell was kind of a collaboration between Jonathan Young and Lucas Rossi, who's another fellow Canadian. I don't know if people remember Lucas from that show that he actually ended up winning. It was called Rockstar Supernova. It was with Tommy Lee. It was
right.
Like,
okay.
Find a singer for his band, and it had like Gilby Clarke from Guns N' Roses, Jason Newsted from Metallica, and Lucas flew down from Toronto and just like owned it and won it. And he and I have been friends for years, so we're just kind of producing some of that stuff on the side. So I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I wake up and want to make music every day. So I kind of I need the outlet to be able to do so.
So was this last couple of years pretty rough for you, not being able to tour and stuff if you're a workaholic, or did you just sit at home and work on a lot of tunes? Or
yeah, we kind of figured out how to do the remote collaborating thing. We got really, really lucky because we had toured so much in 2018 and 19 all over the world that we were burnt out. We were like, guys, like this is pre-pandemic. We were like, guys, let's take 2020 off because we can't tour in 2020 or we're going to lose our minds. And then the pandemic hit, and we were like, oh shit, okay, well, we got lucky there. And because of my new venture with Howard Benson, Judge and Jury, he lives in LA and I live just outside of Toronto. So I wasn't moving to LA. So I already had kind of a grip on being able to collaborate remotely with some technologies, like using Zoom, but also using these other programs, which allow you to, you can basically, whatever you're working on in your digital audio workstation, whether it's Pro Tools or Logic or, for those not in the industry, that's kind of the industry standard for digital recording. This technology allows you to stream in full quality, zero latency, anything that you're working on. So anyone else in their own studio, anywhere in the world, can be listening to what you're working on in real time. So eventually, once you work out the bugs, it feels like everyone's in the same room together. And so we just kind of figured that out, and that's how we were able to just stay busy and make we made a lot of music. The whole 3 Days Grace record was done like that for the most part, and then everything else that I had been working on.
That's pretty great. I mean, you don't have to be in a studio anymore. You can do it from home and be productive. That's awesome. Well, Neil, we got to wrap things up here, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes and chatting with me today, and we're excited to start pumping the new tune here on The Wolf.
Awesome, bro. Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Have a good one.